Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you for giving me opportunity to talk with you and tell about you and your work to my audience and to the world who
Awesome.
watches this.
That's amazing, Sai. Thank you so much. I'm very much looking forward to this. It's going to be a good interview. I have a good feeling.
Great, sir. So, can you please introduce yourself to my audience?
Absolutely. So my name is Sean R. Bell, and I am from Canada. I'm a Canadian fantasy author. I am the author of the Grandfather Chronicles fantasy book series. So I'm a self-published author, Sai. I published with Friesen Press. They're a well-known self-published company. And I'm a very eclectic guy. I'm into a lot of different things, whether it's reading or writing or music or gardening or model building or playing sports. I have a lot of different interests and a very active imagination. And so storytelling is something that I've always enjoyed, whether it's just two people conversing or like this amazing journey that I've decided to put my imagination into words and come up with this incredible journey that is just in the beginning stages, but it's been a lot of fun.
Which part of Canada you're from?
So I am from Ontario. So Canada is broken up, into different provinces. So I'm from Ontario, very close to the city of Toronto, but my family is from Montreal. So my mom's side of the family, which I'm very close to, they are from Montreal, Quebec, which is another province, but just next door to Ontario. So we are from really Ontario, Quebec. So call it the eastern part of Canada.
So, you are a full-time writer.
It's a great question, Sai. Right now, yes, I'm a full-time writer. I'm very fortunate in the opportunity I have right now, where I can spend a lot of my time on writing and self-promoting my book, having wonderful opportunities to talk with wonderful people like yourselves today. I can't tell you how appreciative and thankful I am for that. But promoting your book and writing takes time, a lot of hours. Days go quickly. So to have the resources to be able to do this right now is wonderful. I can dedicate a lot of time to this. I've gone back to school and taken advanced writing courses and creative writing courses to try and fine tune my skills, because I always believe you should strive to get better with your work. You come up with something, but I'm very critical. I want to get better. So I spend a lot of time researching, as I mentioned, going back to school and doing things to try and uh, I guess make my creative writing skill set that much more, that a little bit better than when I started. So as of right now, so yes, I'm able to work writing and promote the book full time. We'll see where things happen over the course of the next year. I always break my year up into windows and see where we're at. But yeah, for right now, that's the plan. Especially going into Christmas promotion, and I've already started writing book two. Book one has just come out, and I'm already writing book two. And I have an idea of where I want to go with it. Side, just a question of am I going to continue down that road? Ultimately, we have to see how book one does first. I guess that's the ultimate question mark right now.
So, when you started writing, and what was your first book? You said you decided to put your imagination in the form of words, and you want to show it to the world. And you also said that you love storytelling, and you said you are into multiple things: writing, listening, and music, storytelling. So, when did you started? Uh, this creative writing, and when you decided to put your imagination in on a paper?
It's a wonderful question, Sai. I guess I'm going to have to relate it back to the wonderful family experiences I had in Montreal. My mom is from Montreal. I grew up with a single mom, my mom and myself and my younger brother, and we were so fortunate that my mother she exposed us to such wonderful memories with her family in Montreal. Such wonderful impressions made upon me as a child. Such unbelievable memories that here I am today. I can still remember them uh, as vividly as I did, 30 years ago when they happened. So they're an important part of who I am. They've helped establish the character that I've become, and my imagination has always run rampant. There's always been stories happening in my head. I always go to bed at night and I have these stories that are there, these wonderful fantasy ideas. And what I decided to do, because my family was such an important part of my life, is take that family element and seamlessly blend it with these fantasy stories that are always kind of percolating in my mind. And it all started kind of as a bedtime story. I just started sharing with my mom this fantasy idea of my grandfather being this secret warrior in this Arthurian legend battle, and it turned into a manuscript, and the manuscript just continued to evolve. But what inspired me to really take my creative ideas and put them on paper were the wonderful memories I experienced with my mom's side of the family, but my granddad, who's had such a monumental impact on my life. Even though he's no longer with us, I was very young when he passed away. He still left such an unbelievable legacy, and to be able to take that and turn it into a creative writing story is something that I'm just so excited about, and it makes me want to write every day.
So, what is your first book?
So the first book, Sai, is the Grandfather Chronicles. That's the series. It will be a trilogy book series, and the first book is called The Secret of the Sword. So it's the dark truth behind the Arthurian legend sword Excalibur, but it ties together this family realistic element with this Arthurian legend that people who are into Arthurian legend lore will know the story of Excalibur and Arthur and Merlin, and even Morgana, who I've very much introduced as my villain in this book. People will know that. Where I got a little bit different is I combined this family element. So I took real life family experiences, real life things that happened, and I used them and I incorporated them into my version of the Arthurian legend of Excalibur.
So, do you think that you did this justice for the imagination that you have?
I think there's still a lot that I want to tell. Book one was always a vision of mine that kind of introduces the world to the characters of my book and the family behind it. That was always my idea. Let's introduce the world to these elements. Let's introduce the world to these memories and characters. And then if there's an audience for that, which I'm very much hoping there is, I'm working all the time to continually introduce people to different elements of the book through promotions and promos and pictures, interviews, radio interviews, anything I can to help spread the word about this. But yes, book one is kind of an introduction, and I do believe it sets a very strong foundation of where I'd like to go with Arthurian legend. But more importantly, this family element that I think so many people can relate to because it's real. It happened. It's genuinely authentic.
So, you also mentioned that India is one of the reasons why you wrote the book.
Oh, Sai, it's wonderful. So my grandparents on my mom's side, my granny and granddad, are from India. They came to Canada, so there's a strong Indian background in our family. My grandfather actually played for the Indian field hockey team. So there's so many elements in his life that I've tried to capture in this book through his grandson, and they're based on real life things that he experienced. The field hockey, for example. One of the things I haven't done yet, but I would love to do is come to India, visit India, the home, the home country of my granddad. This man inspired me, Sai, in so many ways, and he continues to. So that's why I had to quickly ask, it's such an unbelievable feeling to be talking to someone who's broadcasting from India. It's a heartwarming experience today.
Can I say that your first book is a mixture of real and the fiction?
Yes, absolutely. I like to say, my editor actually said this to me, Sai, that she actually said it seamlessly blends reality with fantasy. There's this family element, this realistic element, these characters that are based on real people, mixed in with this lore, this Arthurian legend of Excalibur that people have taken and shaped over the years and changed the legend around itself. But in my experiences, they've never quite done something like I've done, where you've incorporated that into a family, into a personal experience where people can, wow, that could be my grandson. Wow, that family, there's a lot of resemblance to different families based on some of the things I experienced. And if I can help connect families to this wonderful legend, that's part of my goal with this trilogy book series.
So who do you think are going to connect with the imagination that you're putting in the form of words?
Sai, we've all been hit with this worldwide pandemic. The world has changed as we've known. We went to sleep in one world and woke up in another. I think the one thing that has remained constant over the years is people love to escape to an imaginary world, a world where they imagine things could be a certain way, where they imagine things maybe are a little bit different than what they're experiencing. This pandemic has definitely made us appreciate life a lot more. But I think honestly that people crave a good story. People crave an imagination. People crave the ability to escape somewhere and forget their everyday worries. And that's my goal. My goal is to create a world where people can escape to, enjoy what's happening here, but remember that it's real. It could be real. There's a family element here that's real. But I think to answer your question, I really believe that writing fantasy stories with great imagination creates a world that you want people to be a part of. And I think my world invites people in and makes them feel like they're a part of it.
So what is the response that you're getting for the book that you released?
Sai, so my book has just been out for, it hasn't even been 2 months. So it's very, very early, very, very early. It released on the Friesen Press bookstore site first. So it went there first. And then it took about 5 or 6 weeks to release to the worldwide platforms, whether it would be Amazon, Barnes and Noble. But to answer your question, it's been an incredible response early on. It's still difficult to gauge because I like to see after 6 months or a year where we're at. But if we're looking at in the short term, it's been received very, very well. And a number of people who are following the Grandfather Chronicles page on Facebook are from India, because I know India has a large following of people who really love fantasy. So a lot of people following my Facebook Grandfather Chronicles page are from India. And so I have been able to send posts directly out to these followers. And that really kind of gives me a sense of family, because I think of my granddad and what he would say to me sitting beside me, because the power of social media and the ability to reach out to people all over the world and specifically target areas that may really take an interest in your book, like India, for example. It's been amazing. So early on, I have to say the large readership and the large fan base is coming from India.
So what is the best response that you got and that you cannot forget?
The best response, the ability to continue this journey, Sai. I am looking for, I've always said that book one was a stepping stone. It was the first step. It's by no means the last step. It's by no means the conclusion. It's the ability. It's the first step in getting my story out there. What I'm trying to do is be able to write book two. I'm looking for the ability to create an audience that appreciates book one and the characters and the world of story that I've created. But my ultimate goal is to be able to write book two, to have an audience that wants book two, and that would give me a true sense of where I want to go. If there's an audience there for book two, then I would write book three, the conclusion. But I can tell you this, Sai, and I'll tell you this, you and me today. If there's an audience for book two and I write book two, the world will want to read book three, because book one kind of stands as an independent book. It's an introductory book. Book two is kind of continued into book three. So if book two is out there and I have the opportunity to write book 2, which I that's my goal. That's what I want to do. The plan is to do that. People will want to read book 3 because book 3 is the conclusion of the entire series.
So telling a story with vocally is different from telling a story without making any sound. Just you're creating an imagination by just the words that you have in your collection. Just by showing the words, you're creating an imagination. So how well you do you think that you did that well, and is that reaching the imagination that you want to put in the book? Do you think that that reached, and are you satisfied with whatever you expressed?
Wonderful question, Sai. So with Friesen Press is a self-publishing publishing company. They will publish your book with you. They work with you in detailed steps along the way to publish your work, but it continues to be your work, meaning that I can honestly tell you what was in the original manuscript when it comes to World of Story, the memories, the elements that build this vision you write through words. That was never compromised through the entire publishing process. Friesen respects and appreciates your content, and they help work with you with respect to mechanics and editing. I can honestly tell you the script through the mechanics and the editing has changed a ton since the very first script we worked with. But the ideas, the memories, the world of story that I worked hours to create has never been jeopardized. Friesen Press never came to me and said, Sean, we have to take this out. This element's not going to work. They publish exactly what you want to publish, Sai. They will not take anything out unless you agree to that. So to answer your question in short, yes, I am thrilled and so excited because every element that I imagined that would be part of that book is. Every memory that I wanted to use is part of that. And that was the biggest thing that I worried about, was sharing these memories that were so close to my heart with the world. How would that be received? But in the 2 months that the book has been out, it's been received very, very well. And I can honestly say that the world of story has not been compromised. The vision that I imagined 3 years ago in my head has come to fruition today, and it's exactly how I envisioned it.
So which country people are going to connect and have connected with the book that you released, and at the same time, what age group are going to connect with your book and got connected already?
So the book is now available worldwide, size. So it started out just in Canada, North America actually, but now it's available worldwide. It can be available whether it's India, the United Kingdom, Canada, United States. The book is available now worldwide on various platforms, whether it would be Amazon is the big one that goes worldwide, but it's available worldwide on all those platforms. I'm finding right now, Sai, that the book is when it comes to a target audience, it's very interest-based. It might not necessarily be the target age range, which I'm saying is about 16 to about 25. That's young readers. The book is by no means a hard read. It's and I did that on purpose. I wanted the book to flow. I wanted the book to keep people's interest. So I didn't write a thick 500-600 page book. I wrote a book that moves and keeps people interested. I am finding so far that a lot of the people who are reading it are in that 16 to 25 age group. But I'm also seeing that there's a large number of people who just are buying the book because they're interested in Arthurian legend, because they have this interest, because they read, whether it's promos on my website or social media. The promos are getting their attention based on the interest and the creative style I'm using to help promote the book. So I kind of say my book's a bit of a hybrid that way, where I'm not specifically targeting just an age. I'm more specifically targeting people who have interest in fantasy, interest in mythology, science fiction. So I think it could be 16 to 25, but I'm also seeing people who are 40 and 45-year-olds who are reading it too. So it's a nice mix right now, and that kind of gives me the foundation that I need to kind of see moving forward into book 2, into book 3, who are, what are the demographics that are reading this? But right now, it really is primarily based on people who have interests in things that align with the book.
So you said it is a mixture of real and the fantasy. So how much time you took to put your imagination in it?
So from beginning to end side, believe it or not, about 3 years. It took 3 years to take it from a very rough draft, and by rough draft I mean bullet points on cue cards, because that's how I start. I start with cue cards and just points. If I'm lying in bed at night and I come up with an idea, I'll get up and write it down. So it started as just cue cards and point form points. That's how it starts. And whether it's on my desk or my bed or the floor, and I'll start to lay the cue cards out in a sequence that I think will, um, a sequence that will work well in the story. And then from there, I take it to a rough draft. But from beginning to end, 3 years. It took 3 years to go from a rough draft to the final print-ready files that Friesen Press published. So it was a long process. A lot of it was spent in editing. A lot of it was spent polishing mechanics, making sure that the end product was the best possible piece of creative writing that I could create. Because I've always been the belief that you need to, and first impressions are very important. And this being my debut novel, the first in the trilogy to come, I wanted to make sure this book was the absolute best it could be. So I meticulously spent hours and hours and hours and hours editing it to make sure that it was professional status. And having Friesen Press and their wonderful editors who spent time with me, who had experience in editing fantasy novels, the combination just made it a great story. And I can honestly say that I'm so pleased with the result.
So the connected one, second book is out or is going to be out?
Yes, the second book, the plan saw, yes. So I believe it or not, I've already written half of book two. I've been writing book two as I've been promoting book one, spending a lot of time, of course, promoting book one, because book one is the essence of the series. It is the book one is what's going to create the audience for the rest of the series, trying to find people who are interested. But there are a lot of people who are already reaching out to me and saying, Sean, when's book two coming? When's book two coming? So the plan is to have book two come out next summer. So after Christmas, I'm going to spend some serious amount of time getting book two ready. I don't think book two, in my personal opinion, will take as long to come out. Obviously, we said book one was 3 years. Book two, I've kind of gone through the steps now with Friesen. I've gone through that self-publishing creative process. It's now a question of just finishing the manuscript for book two and editing it and having it out for next year. But the nice thing here is that the audience will be established. All the social platforms will be in place. It's just a question now of, Sean, it's time to write book two. Let's get book two finished and get it out there. But I'm a big believer. I've loved trilogy since I was a kid. And I don't want to make the audience wait too long. I like to ride momentum. I believe it's important. So the plan is to have book two out by the beginning of summer next year, Si. So 2022.
Awesome. So at last, what do you have anything to say to the world and to my audience who are listening and watching our conversation?
It's been such a privilege and an honor to be able to chat with you today, Si. I guess my lasting words would be that how far would you go for family? That's my tagline for my book. I would love for people to experience the wonderful Arthurian legend in a way that hasn't been told before. And that's what I think makes my book unique, is that you're taking a legend, something that people have told for years, and you're making it part of a real life family element. And I think that's my unique selling point. That's something that I think I will cling to throughout the entire series, is the ability to tie such a wonderful family experience that I have and continue to have, and tie that into a myth, a legend, something that people enjoy with respect to entertainment, but making it real. And so I think my last thing I would have to say is, if you're a fan of Arthurian legend, give my book a try, because it brings to life a sense of real, and it brings to life a sense of imagination, and it ties, like we said early on, it seamlessly blends fantasy with reality.
So at last, have you seen any videos of mine on YouTube?
Of yours on YouTube?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So what do you think as a writer, as an observer, as a person who is into music, as a person who is into creative writing, as a person uh, uh, who explains the imagination in the form of words to make people to connect with it? What do you say about my work?
So I've had the opportunity now to watch a number of your interviews, and the one thing I love is that there's an authenticity to you that I really enjoy. It's like you and I are sitting down having a coffee or a beer or a cup of tea. It's just a conversation, and I love that. You make it real. You take people's real life stories and you share them with the world, and that's something that I truly admire. I love the non-scripted atmosphere. I love just going live and talking about it. I love live element. I think it's so important. I don't like rehearsing a script and then getting on screen and trying to repeat that script. I love authenticity, and I love the ability to just be able to chat like you and I are now. And the one thing I find with your work is that it doesn't matter what guest you're interviewing, they're comfortable with you, Sai, and that's important because what makes an interview great is not the content, it's the person who's able to relay that content and the person who's able to get that content out. And I think you do a great job at that. And that's why I'm so excited to be a part of this, because I think you have something very unique that I think makes you a great interviewer. So hats off to you. You do a great job.
Your words means a lot to me, Sean. I hope you do what you're doing. You continue doing what you're doing, and I'm sure a lot of authentic stories of yours uh, comes in coming days. I'm sure that will create more impact on people who reads it.
Sai, it's been wonderful to connect with you. I hope we can continue to connect. I hope I can keep you in my contact list. You don't know how yeah, a little emotional I am to be able to talk to someone who can really try and take my message and broadcast it in my grandpa's home country, in the country he grew up in, and he's the inspiration behind this book. So this is a wonderful opportunity for me. I really hope we can stay in touch, and I wish you all the best because you're a great guy, and you do interviews in such a wonderful and unique way, and I'd be honored to talk to you anytime.
So if you send me your links, the book links, and if you send me, I'll put in the description of this video. People who finds our video on YouTube can see the links of your books and can read what you are telling, what
Okay.
your imagination is.
Okay, so just send you the social media links in that side. Just send them to you in the Skype chat. That's okay.
Yeah, send me.
Okay, perfect, Sai. I will do that right now for you. This has been wonderful. You have everything you need?
That's it. I will share it with my audience. They will know you and they will see the work that you're doing.
And that's wonderful, Sai. And just lastly, before I let you go here, you'll send me the link so I can use that, because I love to promote you through my stuff as well, because you are an extraordinary guy, and I'd love to be able to do that as well.
So after completion of this video, after editing it, after putting it in a good form with the names, I will send you. I will send you the links.
Wonderful, Sai. Thank you so much. It's such an honor, my friend. Thank you. It was great.
Can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
Absolutely, Sai. You can use this video for anything you need.
And also, can I put this video and audio clip on my podcast website, internet, social media, everywhere with your permission?
Absolutely. You have my permission to use this anywhere and everywhere you see fit.
Thank you, sir. Keep going. Keep doing what you love.
Thank you, Sai. We'll stay in touch. Bye now.
Bye.